expert, but I'm gonna bet that Enzo Ferrari is probably turning in his freaking grave right now. Okay, so I really was not overly bothered by Ferrari ended up having a bad race in Brazil. I wasn't bothered by, because I mean, c'est la vie. You know, it's life, shit happens. As Break Boosted put it, it's just one of them weekends where you have to accept you got screwed and move on. But that's not the approach that John Elkann took. I'm sure you've seen it by now, what he said after Brazil. But here's what he said in case you missed it, and just to remind you. Brazil was a huge disappointment. If we look at the Formula 1 championship, we can say that our mechanics are winning the championship with their performance and everything they've done on the pit stops. If we look at our engineers, there's no doubt the car has improved. If we look at the rest, it's not up to par. And we certainly have drivers who it's important that they focus on driving and talk less, because we still have important races ahead of us, and it's not impossible to get second place. Now, I should make it clear, I'm not here to crap on the mechanics or the engineers. They're doing fine, they're doing great. The guys that do the pit stops are doing absolutely insane this year. I mean, they literally have won the pit stop championship for this year. But what Elkann has said is basically just throwing the drivers under the bus, saying it's their fault. You've had 4 world champions with 14 championships between them driving for you in the last 15 years, and none of them in that time period have been able to get anything good out of it, win the championship rather, but no, it's the driver's fault. Kimi Räikkönen did win a championship with Ferrari, yes, but that was 18 years ago, okay? Ferrari's last world championship is now old enough to buy alcohol legally in the United Kingdom. Don't worry, you're not the only one feeling a bit old, acknowledging the fact that a kid born in 2007 is now legally old enough to drink in the UK. You have a driver lineup currently made up of statistically the most successful Formula 1 driver of all time, and one of the most successful drivers of his generation, who is the reason why Ferrari has 7 podium finishes this year. But no, it's the driver's fault is why things aren't great at Ferrari. Got it. Thanks for clearing that up. I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Now, have the drivers been talking this year? Yes. They have been. They have been critical this year. Leclerc has been a lot more critical this year than in previous years. Thank God, it's about time. And Hamilton has made no secret of the fact that he's been having a bad year. It's been a nightmare season, and it's not the start that I think any of us expected to his time at Ferrari. But they've been rightfully critical. Because look, someone has to call Ferrari out on their BS. Someone has to call them out on the fact and just say, look, what we're doing is not working. And it sure as shit seems like the only ones at Ferrari who are going to say it is the drivers. Because I mean, just as an example, you know, Leclerc was really critical after Singapore, basically saying the car is shit. Basic sum up. Hamilton again, he's been critical of his season, made no secret of the fact that it's been a bad year for him, and it has been. I mean, this is going to be the first time in his Formula 1 career he'll end a season with less than 5 podium finishes. But with all that said, to me, it feels like it is a little more targeted towards Hamilton than it is Leclerc. Because I think, like, Elkann I think it was one of the ones really wanted to bring Hamilton in, but then they got him in, but then now it's kind of not ended up how I think maybe he expected, and now he's annoyed that, you know, Hamilton's kind of, quote-unquote, talking more than performing or whatever, I don't know. And yeah, as I said, Hamilton's year, it has been shit. There's no other really way to put it. There's been flashes in the pan, you know, there's been the sprint race in Miami after it stopped raining and he switched to the softs at the right time. You know, there was the sprint win in China. But overall, it's been a bit of a shit season for him. I mean, it has to be said that Hamilton doesn't have as much experience dealing with difficult Ferrari cars as what Leclerc does. He seemed to struggle a lot more to get on top of what is a difficult SF25 to drive, but I'm not making excuses for him. I just thought I'd mention it because it's true. You know, Leclerc has been dealing with difficult Ferrari cars for a while. Lewis has made mistakes this year, you know, but in Brazil, you know, we're talking about Brazil, he made mistakes. His start wasn't great. He ran into the back. He clipped the back of Colapinto when he was trying to pass him there at the end of lap 1, and that just ruined his entire race. But even still, like, there's no need to just throw your drivers under the bus like that. You cannot preach unity in the final races and then throw your drivers under the fucking bus. Because that's not preaching unity. All that's doing is pissing off your drivers, driving a wedge between the team and the drivers maybe, and pissing off the fans and just everyone, and just making everyone go, what the fuck? I'm sorry, what are you saying? All he's doing is fueling the Elkann outpost over on Twitter. The drivers, ain't the problem at Ferrari. They're not. The issue at Ferrari is Ferrari itself. It's Elkann, it's the management. Elkann just seems like he doesn't care, but out of touch with the project a bit. He and Ferrari just seem a bit too stuck in their ways and not liking to hear criticism about, does not liking hearing the drivers saying that, yeah, what we're doing isn't working. They seem to have their heads stuck so far up their arse that they don't see the reality that what they're doing isn't working, and unless they change, things won't change. It'll be the same story with the next driver lineup and the one after that, unless things change elsewhere, you know? Because, I mean, if you're constantly changing things, but you're getting the same results, then the thing that isn't working isn't what you're changing, it's what you're not changing. If that makes any remote sense whatsoever. Like, you're plugging a cable into a USB port, say, but then it doesn't work. So like, okay, fine, I'll try a different cable. That one doesn't work, and neither does the third cable, or the fourth cable. Then maybe it's not the cables that are the problem, it's the fucking USB port. And in this instance, the cables is everything they've been changing. It's been the driver lineups, it's been the team principals, and the USB port is management. Hopefully that makes some semblance of sense. Because it kind of seems like the drivers in their post-race social media posts kind of seems to me like they were hitting out at what Elkann said. Here is what first Leclerc said. A very difficult weekend in Sao Paulo. Disappointed to come back home with nearly no points at all for the team, and was a critical moment in the season to fight for the second place in the Constructors' Championship. It's uphill from now, and it's clear that only unity can help us turn that situation around in the last 3 races. We'll give it all as always. And here's what Lewis said. I back my team, I back myself. I will not give up. Not now, not then, not ever. Thank you, Brazil, always. First of all, I should hope that he's not giving up. I should hope that they're both not giving up. I mean, Hamilton's never been one to give up. Neither is Leclerc. They're both going to fight to the end to try and get P2, because it's going to be difficult, but it's still possible to get that P2 in the Constructors' Championship. Because they are actually preaching unity, unlike what Elkann said, which is just pissing everyone off. Like, if there's anything that needs to change at Ferrari, as I say, it's management. It's Elkann. I mean, everyone knows that the management on that whole side of things at Ferrari is questionable at best. So really, on that hand, seeing Elkann saying something like this shouldn't be all that surprising, but it kind of is. Because why on earth would you throw your drivers under the bus like that? I saw someone mention, like, you wouldn't see Red Bull throwing the drivers just under the bus like this. Okay, maybe once upon a time they would, but by the by, I mean Red Bull nowadays. They seem to be a little less violent than they were before, if you know what I mean. Like, you wouldn't see Mercedes throwing their drivers under the bus like this. Frankly, the legend himself, Jenson Button, worded it best. Maybe John should lead by example. Jenson, here, you dropped this. Like, I saw someone post on Threads about Jenson saying that. I was like, no, there's no way he actually said that. Then I went to the post, and oh my god, he did. I freaking love Jenson Button, man, and this is one of the reasons why. Jenson Button, you absolute legend. No, he's right. Maybe John Elkann should lead by example. Focus more on getting Ferrari better than talking. Focus more, talk less. And don't throw your drivers under the bus. It's not gonna all it's gonna achieve is pissing people off. Anyway, rant over, what's your thoughts on all this? Let me know them down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.